Hi students, I'm back with another video, and it is also very important from exam point of view because you're often asked, to identify different parts of speech like noun, adjective and adverb in a, specific sentences. So when, it comes to define such parts of speech, it is very easy because, we all know what is a noun, what is adjective and what is an adverb. But when you are asked to identify them in a particular or complex type of sentences, then it becomes very confusing and difficult. So today in today's video, we are going to discuss certain clues and tips that how you can identify, noun, adjective and adverb in, some specific sentences. So don't forget to watch the complete video, and if you like or enjoy my video, then don't forget to give me a thumb up. Okay, how do we define a noun? A noun is simply called a naming word. It can be name of a place, person or a thing that we all are familiar with this, definition. But the question is, that how to identify noun in a sentence. So right in front of you on the screen, you can see a question. Select the noun form of honest. There are four options, that is honestly, honest and honesty. So if you have to identify a noun in a sentence, you have to see whether that noun in that sentence is working as a subject or object, because usually we see that noun functions in a sentence either as a subject or as an object. So whenever you are asked to identify a noun in a sentence, you have to see whether its role in the sentence is that of a subject or an object, right? So for example, you can see in the cloud that sentence that is honesty is the best policy. You have often heard this saying. Over here, honesty is our subject, so this helped us out to identify that this is a noun. So whenever you are asked to identify a noun in a sentence, see whether it is functioning as a subject or an object. Secondly, an important tip is that, if you come across a noun and if you can put s or es to that word, to that particular noun, and if it functions as a noun and it becomes a plural, grammatically it is, fine and it is correct, then it is also a noun. So this was another tip to see or identify a noun in a sentence. Okay, one more important tip is that we can also make nouns from certain verbs. And we all know if we can, make three forms of verb like first, second, and third, then it is called a verb. This is the, main identification of a verb. For example, you can see, check the middle column, that is of verb, educate, educated, educated, inform, informed, informed. So whenever you are asked to identify a verb in a sentence, you have to see whether two other forms of it can be made or not. So over here, through some suffixes like tion, al, age, ing, anc, sion, we can convert some verbs to nouns. For example, educate, education, inform, information, combine, combination, arrive, arrival, break, breakage. You can see these all are verbs, and we can convert them to different nouns by just adding some suffixes to them. So this is also another tip, and to which you can guess the noun in a sentence. I hope it will be clear to you. Okay, now comes another part of speech, that is adjective. How do we define adjective? Adjective basically qualifies a noun, or it adds meaning to the noun, or it tells us something about the noun, and that is the quality. For example, there is a question right in front of you. Select the adjective form of honest. Honestly, honest, honesty, none. So there are four options. So now if you see the sentence in a cloud, that is, he is an honest person. So we said in our definition that adjective qualifies a noun. So in the above mentioned sentence, in the given sentence, person is a noun, and honest is adding meaning, or it is telling us something about the person, that is our noun. So adjective over here would be honest. So this is how one way is that you can guess adjective in a sentence, that it will always be adding meaning to the noun. Okay, here is one another rule, that how can we make adjectives from nouns? And it is very easy. Adjectives can be made by adding ly to the noun as well. For example, we have a noun man. If you add ly to it, it becomes manly. He works in a manly manner. She works in a manly manner. Similarly, we have another noun friend. If you will add ly to it, it will become friendly. So friendly is also adjective. We will not call it adverb. So the point over here to remember is, not all words having ly at the end are adjectives. Similarly, not all words having ly at the end are adverbs. We will see it in the coming slides. Okay, here is another rule, that through which you can make adjectives from certain nouns. If you see the middle column, there is a list of nouns: accident, region, compliment, beauty, skill, athlete. These all are nouns. If you add some suffixes to them, they will become adjectives. For example, accident, accidental, region, regional, compliment, complimentary, beauty, beautiful, skill, skillful, history, historic, use, useless, friend, friendly. So this is how you can make adjectives from certain nouns by adding suffixes. And if you remember, in the previous slides we discussed how you can make nouns from certain verbs by adding suffixes. So I hope this will also help you out to recognize adjectives in sentences. As we all know that there are two positions of an adjective in a sentence. One order is that of attributive, and another order is that of predicative adjectives. If you see the screen, in case of attributive adjective, the order is, first there is a determiner, then it is followed by adjective, and then it is followed by a noun. So this is how through this order you can also identify an adjective in a sentence. For example, he is a talented programmer. So over here, is a determiner, and talented is an adjective, and programmer is a noun. So this is how through the position of adjective within a sentence you can identify an adjective. Similarly, if we discuss the second position of adjective in a sentence, and that is that of predicative adjective. In this case, the order of the position of adjective in a sentence is like, the first there is a subject, and then it is followed by a linking verb, and then it is followed by an adjective. The shoes are expensive. So over here you can see expensive is telling us something about the shoes. So it is basically referring to the noun, that is shoes. And so the shoes is our subject, and are is our linking verb, and expensive is an adjective. So this is how position of an adjective in a sentence will also help you out to identify adjective in that particular specific sentence that will be given to you in the exam. So here comes another part of speed, that is adverb. It is also very important because you are often asked in the exam to identify an adverb in a sentence as well. So when we define adverb, we say that it is a word that qualifies a verb. But actually, we see that an adverb is a word that qualifies an adjective, a verb, and also another adverb. Now let's discuss how. For example, there is a sentence, Alia sings loudly in the class. So here, sings is a verb and loudly is an adverb. So over here, loudly is qualifying, or it is it is adding meaning to the verb. So over here, adverb is qualifying a verb in a sentence. Similarly, if you read the second sentence, Alina is very courteous. In this sentence, courteous is an adjective and very is an adverb. So over here, an adverb is, telling us something about adjective. It is qualifying an adjective. If you see the third sentence, she is writing so beautifully. Over here, the underlined words so and beautifully, both are adverbs. So we can say over here, an adverb is qualifying another adverb. So this is how it will help you out. To identify an adverb in a sentence. For example, if you also see the question, select the adverb form of honest in the given option. So you will see you'll have to use it in a sentence. He did that work honestly. So over here, word honestly is telling us about the work, like how the work has been done. That is adverb of manner. So the work has been done honestly. So over here, this is an adverb. Do you remember that when we were discussing adjectives, we discussed that how we can make adjectives from certain nouns by just adding ly to them. Similarly, if you see, we can also make adverb from adjectives by adding ly to them. Did you notice the difference? That if you add ly to a noun, then it becomes adjective. But if you add ly suffix to an adjective, then it becomes adverb. Don't forget this difference, because it always makes you confused when it comes ly comes with certain words. So you have to separate the main word from ly and to see that if it is if it stands alone as a noun, then it will be an adjective. And if you separate the main root from ly and it functions as an adjective, then it will be adverb. In simple words, we can say that by adding ly to nouns, they function as adjectives, and if we add ly to certain adjectives, then they function as an adverb. So don't forget this main difference. You can also see certain example on the screens, as for example slow. So slow is an adjective, and if you add ly to it, it becomes an adverb, that is slowly, and that is actually adverb of manner. Similarly, beautiful is also adjective, and if you add ly to it, it becomes an adverb, that is beautifully. Similarly, pure is also adjective, and if you add ly to it, it becomes an adverb, that is purely. So this is how you can make adverbs from adjectives, by just adding ly to them. Okay, so as we all know that an adverb describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb that we have already discussed. So it actually tells us how, where, when, how much, and with what frequency something happens. So here is the list of certain examples that you can read out and you can remember them as well. For example, how something is done, there is a list like quietly, peacefully, carefully, easily, fast, or quickly. Similarly, where something has done, like it tells you something about the place, above, abroad, far, away, back, here, outside. All of these are adverbs. Similarly, when, that tell you time, that when something has happened now, yesterday, soon, later, tomorrow, already, tonight, last year, then. So that is how, when then comes another column, that is of how much, like with what frequency something happens. It happens rarely, it happens enormously, or entirely, very extremely, rather, almost, absolutely. Similarly, how often something is, done repeatedly, generally, normally, frequently, occasionally, seldom, rarely, never. So all of these adverbs are examples of adverbs. Okay, here is another point to remember about certain adverbs. For example, hardly, scarcely, rarely, that has negative meaning. So hardly has a negative meaning and it normally means almost, not at all, or only just. We can use it at mid position or before an adjective or a noun. For example, he wore a big hat that covered his head and you could hardly see his face. It means you could only see a small part of his face. However, in more formal styles, to refer to something happening immediately after something else, we use hardly. When we move hardly to the front position and invert the subject and verb order. For example, let us see how. Hardly had I arrived there when I was called back to the head office 100 miles away. So in this case, you can say, hardly had I arrived. This is something that has immediately happened. After what? After when I was called back to the head office 100 miles away. So this is how, the subject and verb order will be inverted in case you use hardly in the beginning of the sentence. So what does this mean? This sentence actually mean I arrived there and then I was immediately called back. So this is how you have to remember this, point when you are using certain adverbs like hardly, scarcely, rarely, and seldom in sentences. Okay, so here is a list of some more adverbs. You can see all the 5 columns like where, how, when, how often, and how much, particularly that action happens. So you can read them out and that will also be very helpful for you. Okay, students, so now it's time for you to practice because we all know that without practice, it is not possible to learn grammar concepts. So you can take a screenshot of the given sentences and don't forget to type your answers in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. Don't forget to share your feedback, and if you want me to make a video on any other grammar topic, you can share it with me in the comment section. I would be very pleased to know. Stay blessed.